All right, so here's some of my favorites, and also some of the hot beers that are here right now. One of my favorite beers is the very first one, which is not really my recipe at all. It's actually Scott Peck's, who's the assistant brewer here. This is a cranberry saison. It took 100 pounds of cranberries to do. When he first brought the beer to us, the beer was closer to 9%. And I told him we can't go 9%. You know, this is
tone it down.
Let's tone it down. Let's find a way to get it to come down. And we sat and we played around with the beer. We worked the beer over, and we finally got it to come down to about 6.5%. And then to the taste, it's really, really, really light. Gives you a little bit of some of the fruity background of the actual beer, along with a really light hit of cranberry at the end.
Sounds great.
And it's a super summer beer. The second beer that we have here, which is this one right here, that is the Hefeweizen. It's not done traditionally. It's done, I do it on the colder side. So you don't get all the esters and the bananas and some of the other flavors, the cloves, out of the actual yeast. When I did this beer at home, I thought I was supposed to have done it warmer. Instead, I did it cooler, and I got this style of beer, and I really like it. It's a hazy, it's a wheat beer, it's a German style wheat beer, and I really like it. It's one
good mistake.
Yes, it's a good mistake, and it is probably one of the top selling beers here right now. The third beer, which would be this one here, is my favorite. It's the one that took us the longest to develop. It's Stink Eye. It's the IPA. It's your everyday drinker. And this one took the longest to develop. And we were out in the garage one day. We're getting poo-pooed, and you know, your eyes start to get glazed over. And both of us were laughing, and my wife sticks out her head and she says, "What are you guys laughing about?" "Well, I think we just figured out what we're going to name this beer. We're going to name it Stink Eye." And it kind of stuck. So that's why it's named Stink Eye.
Stink Eye was born.
Stink Eye was born, and we thoroughly enjoyed the beer. One of the last ones here.
It's the stout, right?
The real, yeah, this is a stout. This is actually a sweet stout. This is Cuckoo's in the Nut House. It is a big time fan favorite here. It is a Almond Joy in a glass. It's chocolate,
wow.
It's coconut, it's almonds, it's all in there. It's on a really light side of the stout. It's 4%. It's really tasty. We ran out of it one time, and we had a bunch of people come in. That's what they were looking for, and they started crying at us because you don't have it on. Well, I'm sorry, we ran out, but we are making it again.
We need the liquid Almond Joy. We need it.
We need the liquid. But yeah, we had a lot of really good responses with that, and it is a very, very special beer. So, and then the last beer that we have, this is just simply Pavlov's Red Raspberry Wheat. It was a beer that I developed over a while to get the raspberry right and get the wheat concept right. Another summer favorite. We've had to make it twice in order to keep up with demand. I wasn't expecting that. It's really, really enjoyable. A lot of people really, really like it.
I like the names of your beers.
Yeah, well, Joan, my wife, has this thing where she wants to name beers, and with Joan being blind, part of the reason for the naming of the Pavlovs is because of that. Joan has a leader dog. Part of the reasoning for naming it Pavlovs was because of the dog, because the way Pavlov treated the animals, because most of these dogs are trained in the conditioned response. It just made sense to us. We live that practice, and so that's why we named the beers and the brewery. So I let her name all the beers.
I love that. Very personal.
Yeah. I let her name all the beers. If it doesn't pass the Joan test, it does not get put up here. Because really, when you lose one of your senses, your other senses tend to take over.
Yeah, they get heightened. And her flavor senses and her taste buds, even though she doesn't care for still a couple of different styles of beer, the rest of the styles of beer she can pretty much nail. I mean, she's got a good flavor, sense about what's there, and this is where she gets to come to work and be creative.
This is her. She loves being here. She loves talking to the customers, and enjoys every bit of it.
Awesome.
But these are some of the crowd favorites.
Well, thank you.